better than TV. You are with the outlaw of YouTube, the bad man of YouTube, the troublemaker, the one with the least viral presentations. Okay, this is not going viral. This is like the underground, but not like a burial. But good to see you all. I am representing Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Love from Chicago. Everybody out there on Twitch, much love from Chicago. And everybody on Facebook, much love from Chicago. We got North Carolina in the building. We got San Francisco in the building. We got Sexy Star in the building, being a sexy star. Ooh. What's going on, y'all? I had to come to straighten out some stuff. I don't know if I got it crooked, but I'm going to straighten it out whether I got it crooked or not. We got Cleveland, Ohio in the building. Right? I think I might have got some stuff crooked, so I'm going to come and make sure I got it straight. We're going to get it straight. We're going to get it straight. I'm going to break down what's going on with these tariffs. I think I had some misinformation when it comes to the tariffs. Right? So I don't think I was looking at it right. I'm going to break down the whole process on how I got to this conversation and what we're about to talk about. I was going back and forth with an associate on the phone, and that's why it's good to talk. And we was talking, and then it's like, something ain't right about what we talking about, and then we kept talking, and boom, things get revealed. So a lot of times, if you just keep circulating information, and you're not debating, but you're just circulating the conversation, things will come up to put you into the right mind space. What's going on? G. Lisa. Beautiful. What's going on? Future Black, Queen the Don. G. Rock. Okay, rep y'all cities, rep your cities, rep your cities. We're going to get it going. Support the channel. Support the channel. This is going to be interesting. I got to break this whole down for you. I know you've been seeing the tariff situation. I know you've been seeing what's going on. Truckers are being sent home because no ships are coming, so there's no loads to pick up. So lots of truckers are being sent home. Not a good thing. There's a lot going on, and what I realized today is that our politicians, they have a certain way they talk, and in order for you to know what's going on, everything has to be strung together. But what these politicians do is they don't talk in a way where you know what they're talking about. They put splits in the conversation so that you can't get the overall idea of what they're talking about. And that's what's going on with these tariffs. They're running a game on us. They're not straight out telling you straight out what's really going on. And I figured it out. And part of figuring things out is to leave your mind open and never just try to come up with a conclusion and just stand on the conclusion especially when you start seeing something else. And when you start seeing something else, right, then you got to have your mind open. You can't be locked on any of your belief systems. You can't be locked on it. You can't just give up your belief system because of what somebody else say. You have to adjust your belief system off of real information that you're gathering in that makes you question it yourself. This you can only do this yourself. That's why I don't like debating. I like discussions, because in a discussion, it's not so challenging. And when two people are having a discussion, you can create a higher level of what you're talking about. Cleveland, Ohio is in a building. So I'm going to break something down real deep to y'all. What's really, really going on with this whole situation with the tariffs? What's really going on? Because they would not tell us what's really going on. My head, that's why it took me so long, because I was like, wow. Like once I seen it, I just been like, wow, 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 wow. And I'm gonna tell y'all how I built the conversation, how we got there. Come on in, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and all of that. Yeah. So let's jump right on it. So what I'm about to tell you, I'm gonna tell you how I got to that conclusion. They were saying that truckers were being sent home. Truckers was being sent home. I've seen this European lady. She was in the store and she's like, these shelves has got less stuff on them than they usually have. So the shelves gonna be getting lower, right? So after I seen the white woman in the store and say the shelves gonna get lower, y'all better stock up. I was like, okay, I better stock up, which I'm still gonna do, because I'm stocking up, not just for the tariffs, but just in general, because we can have storms, the weather's crazy, anything. So I'm thinking stock up, stock up, stock up. Tariffs. They saying ain't no goods coming in. Right? They saying ain't no goods coming in. That the port in LA is empty. Nothing's coming. Port's still moving in China. Port's dead in America. They've been sending truckers home. So I went on YouTube and it was all the way. It was all of these really good content creators. These people really got the real information. It was all talking about the tariffs, and that no supply, that this stuff wasn't going to be coming in, and that the truckers, how truckers getting sent home. So everybody, not everybody, I got to stop saying that, but a lot of people were talking about the truckers finna be out of work because there's nothing to pick up. So when I seen that the truckers was, being sent home, there's videos with truckers saying that they've been sent home. There's videos with truckers saying their supervisor told them they probably going to be getting sent home in the next week or two. And that all makes sense because nothing's coming in. And nothing's coming in, which is crazy because you got these strong tariffs against China and nothing's coming in, which to me sounds like you're getting everything from China. Because why is there nothing coming in from no other country? That's a whole nother lie, right? If you got these strict tariffs against China and all of a sudden nothing's in the port, that seems like you're getting everything from China, because where's the other countries? Aren't, Now, I do understand Mexico and Canada, that's going to come by truck. Got it. Some cases, train. Got it. Train and truck. But I mean, you're not getting nothing from none of the other countries around the world by ship. Everything is from China. That's a little weird. That don't sound right. So I'm talking to a friend and I'm like, I got to go to the store. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got to go to the store because, once everybody hear this, probably next week, then it's going to start all the panic stuff. And I want to go before anybody knows. You know what I'm saying? Because especially in the black community and regular city community, they ain't talking about that. They talking about LeBron. They talking about the NBA. They talking about other stuff. They don't be really talking about this type of stuff. They talk about, what they're talking about. They're talking about stuff like the Diddy trial, right? So they like Diddy, 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 or didn't he? Or Diddy, Diddy. So they Diddy it. So they're not paying attention to nothing else. They just Diddy gossip stuff. Diddy, Shannon Sharp, Diddy. Diddy, Shannon Sharp, Diddy. Right? Diddy, Shannon Sharp, Diddy, right? So it's like, oh, damn. So check this out, y'all. So I'm on the phone. I'm saying, man, I got to go to the store. I got to get my spices. I got a bunch of beans and rice. I need to get some more beans and rice and stuff. I'm going to go to the store tomorrow, get me some more stuff. And this is why it's good to keep talking. So we keep on talking. And then we start talking about the Chinese coming with the tariffs, right? Right? Check this out. So we keep talking about the Chinese coming with the tariffs, So then we step it up and start talking, well, what food are we getting from China? So I'm like, wait a minute. We're getting our food from Mexico. We're growing a lot of our own food here. And we can get stuff from Canada. So I'm like, what are we getting from Mexico? And that's what started this conversation. So once I said, well, the main thing we get from Mexico is stuff like plastic plates, plastic cups, games, plastic games, stuff like that. Dishes, electronic remote controls, right? Right? So I started saying, we're not really, I came to realization, China can't cut off our food. Because we got farmland, we got Mexico right there, South America, Hawaii. So I'm like, well, China can't cut the food off. That was the first eye opener. I'm like, I'm panicking for nothing. Because China cannot cut the food off. We're not getting a whole bunch of food from China. And that's a fact. So whatever little food they send, and we could do without that. We won't go hungry. We grow food. We got food stocked up here. So China stuff probably like toilet paper, paper towels, plastic spoons, forks, that kind of stuff. But mostly, I came to realization, we getting electronics. We getting game boards for Christmas toys. All them toys for Christmas, right? Right? So then, G-Rock, when I went that way, I'm like, so, okay. I said, we getting a lot of, okay, we're going to get to that, Tyrone. We getting a lot of stuff. Now, with the fish, they're saying that we are catching the fish, sending it to China for them to skin it and bone it and all that, and then they freeze it and send it back. This is what they saying, Tyrone. Tripped me out. I learned a lot today. Tyrone, America's catching all this fish, shipping it to China, because it's cheaper to skin it and bone it and all of that. And then China's doing all that work and then sending it back to us, which I feel like is a half truth. I feel like we are sending fish to China, but I believe China's catching most of the fish and doing all that and sending it to us, because it's known that the Chinese are the ones taking all of the animals out to sea. So I'm pretty sure that China's catching most of our seafood. And we might be sending them some, but I don't believe that story was all accurate. I believe China is catching the seafood and then cleaning it up and sending it to a freezer. But we still do catch seafood, so we'll be able to catch it ourselves and do whatever we have to do. So there will eventually be everything on the shelf. So then I went to the next step. I'm showing y'all why this conversation. I said, so my friends say, well, what China sent us? I said, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of electronic stuff like this microphone I got and this camera I got, the little cameras, phones, cell phones, electronics, TV remote controls, TVs, microwaves, pressure cookers, right? Dehydrators and stuff like that. So in the conversation I'm saying, yeah, China sent us a bunch of plastic stuff. And that's when the light went on. That's when the light went on. Yep. Yeah, a lot of toilet paper, paper towels. Yeah, they come from Canada. So when I said a bunch of plastic stuff, and I realized like all this stuff I got plastic. Like I got this Dynamo label maker, right? Plastic, right? Plastic, right? Microphone, plastic. Speakers, plastic. Camera, plastic. All this junk's plastic, right? So once I realized they sent us plastic, that's when we went down the rabbit hole, and that's where I found out what's really going on. Because Trump and them is talking in riddles, and they not telling you the truth. Real talk, y'all. So once I realized China's sending us a bunch of electronics and a bunch of plastic, right? I realized that China's making a bunch of toxic stuff. Once I realized China's making a bunch of toxic stuff, I started thinking back to what the politicians be saying. And listen to what they be saying. They'll say, we want to have the tariffs. We want to bring jobs back to America, right? These politicians are sick, so they say they want to bring jobs back to America. So then I'm like, well, why did the jobs leave America? Bam. The jobs left America because the factories was dealing with a lot of pollutants. The factory was dealing with a lot of toxic stuff. The factories are dealing with a bunch of toxic waste and toxic pollution, right? And America wanted to have what? Regulations. They wanted you to spend a lot of money on your chimney to catch all that smoke. It costs you more money to produce because they put the regulations on you. So to avoid regulations, they start making it in China. And those on one side, which you call the Democratic Party, they're all for having a clean environment over here, but they don't have no problem with having a dirty environment in China. Trump is for the hell with the environment. Drill, baby, drill. Bring that shit back home. Fuck the environment. And that's the beef between toxic stuff over in China making it or toxic stuff making it here. It's not about bringing jobs back. It's about bringing the toxic, pollutant factories back. And that's what they beefing over. And they never just say it like that. They say jobs. They never say the factories. But you can't bring jobs back. You got to bring where you work at. Okay, so if you're going to bring jobs back to America, what kind of jobs? What are the factories going to be like? The factories are going to be like this. Then I remember Trump keep talking about deregulation, deregulating. Because they ain't going to come back unless he deregulate. So this is the only way you can make America great again. You got to pollute it. You got to spend more money to make the products. That's what the beef is over. That's what all this is over. That America is bringing over products in China that they don't want to make over here because it's going to cost too much because of regulations. That's why China is making so much stuff from America. And then when I start thinking about, I be listening to these congressmen, that's what they be saying, but they spread it out, y'all. They say bring jobs back. They try not to talk about the factories. They don't say bring the factories back, because then everybody gonna be like, well, are the factories gonna be clean? So they say bring the jobs back. How could you bring a job back without a factory? How can Trump bring jobs back without factories? Without the factories to work in at the jobs. So to bring factories back, you got to deal with the pollution. And the crazy thing is, while they're talking that, they got Elon Musk right now polluting black people in Tennessee. Moms across the country tell Shelby County to stop Elon Musk XAI from polluting Memphis. The former electronics facility on Riverport Road in Memphis, Tennessee, that Elon Musk XAI developed to house a giant supercomputer in less than 4 months, June 24th. Early this spring in Memphis, they say my 12-year-old son ended up in urgent care at his doctor's office 4 times because he needed a nebulizer to help him breathe. We weren't alone. On one visit, 5 children in the waiting area were there for wheezing, and one had to be transported to the hospital by ambulance. My son has always had bad seasonal allergy, but this scary reaction was unlike past years. I couldn't help but wonder if living near Elon Musk XAI supercomputer, the world's largest, spanning multiple football fields, had something to do with it. For months, the facility called Colossus and located in the Boxtown neighborhood has been openly flaunting the rules that help keep our children's lungs healthy and safe. Thanks to a study done by the Southern Environmental Law Center, residents recently learned that to power its supercomputer, XAI has been operating 35 heavily polluting gas turbines without an air permit in violation of the Clean Air Act. This is shocking, but may soon become the norm as massive data centers pop up all over the country to power AI. Gas turbines like the one powering Colossus create harmful nitrogen oxide pollution, which can cause asthma in children and react with other chemicals to form soot and smog pollution. In addition to asthma, all this pollution can lead to lung infections, heart attacks, and premature death. Shelby County, home to Memphis, already scores an F every year from the American Lung Association for its dangerous air, and we have the highest rate of youth asthma emergencies in all of Tennessee. On top of soot, smog, and nitrogen oxide pollution, according to the lawyers at the SELC, the turbines at Colossus pump large amounts of deadly formaldehyde, a known carcinogen, into the air. This is terrifying. To make matters worse, there are no air monitors around the AI facility or nearby neighborhoods, so we don't even know how much hazardous air pollution is in the air at any given time. I might keep my son inside on certain days if we had that data. If I had that data. Boxtown has been disproportionately impacted by industry pollution for decades. The majority Black area is home to an oil refinery, a steel mill, and chemical plants. And its residents already have high rates of asthma, lower life expectancy, and 4 times the national rate of cancer. 4 times the national rate, y'all. All health impacts that have been linked to industrial pollution. Elon Musk swooped into this neighborhood in secrecy last year, getting Colossus up and running in a matter of weeks with zero community consultation. And now his massive fossil gas turbines, some estimates say they're enough to power an entire city, are operating without air permits or accountability. Memphis families are fighting for their lives, and so are families across the country. Supercomputer facilities to power AI are being planned and built across the nation. We can't proceed with the Musk approach of ignoring the law and releasing carcinogens into communities, all to amass billions at the expense of our children's health and future. That's what, here you have it. There you have it. That's what's going on with the tariffs. That's what's going on with all of that. That's why China's making all that stuff. And that's why they shutting China down, because guess what? They finna start making that stuff. They finna bring all them toxic factories here. They're going to make America great again. Yeah. They're going to make America more toxic. That's what they finna do. That's what they finna do. That's what's going on, y'all. This ain't got nothing to do with no This ain't got nothing to do with nothing other than bringing them companies over here and making that stuff over here. So when Trump talk about putting Americans back to work, this is how he gonna put you back to work. This is the work he talking about. Over in China, guess what they doing? This is what they making. Plastic bottles, water bottles, stuff like that, which is toxic after the fact of the matter. So imagine what it's like when you're making it. Does this look healthy? And don't even talk about China. This how they getting down in China. Now you take a good look at that picture. Take a good look at that picture. That's the stuff coming from the barges, coming from the tariffs. This is the stuff they sending us from the tariffs. Now they sending this stuff, right? Because they couldn't make it over here because of regulations and high cost on regulations and high fines. That's how we got in the pocket of the Chinese, because the Chinese don't care nothing about their citizens, period. You don't even want to know how they get treated. So that's what this is all about. That's because you got to ask yourself, how did we get in the pocket of China? We got in the pocket of China because of regulations. And with these regulations, it was too much to make the stuff here. So they started outsourcing the jobs to China to make the stuff and then ship the stuff. And Trump's tariffs is he want to shut them down because he want to make the stuff. And if he want to make the stuff, guess what? Guess how the country got to look if he want to make the stuff? The country got to look like this. This is how you're going to make America great again. By getting rid of restrictions. By getting rid of regulations to regulate how you make the stuff. There ain't going to be no regulations. That's what all of this is really about. Because China ain't making no food. So that's why Trump is like, y'all will be all right. It'll be better. It's going to be better for you. He said it's going to be better for you because he said he's going to bring all these jobs. But these jobs is not going to be better for us. It's going to be for his billionaire and trillionaire friends are the ones going to own this stuff. You're just going to be a slave working for them. For his billionaire, trillionaire friends who going to own the stuff and ain't going to pay you no decent wage compared to how much profits they're going to be getting. They're going to be reporting $100 million profit, $90 million profit, $1 billion profit, but still got you at the same salary. Y'all haven't noticed that these companies keep reporting these profits, but the workers don't never benefit from the profits? Every time they report these $1 billion profits, $100 million profits, that means they cheated their employees and their customers. That's how you get the profits. So that's why they beefing. And that's why him and the Democrats are beefing. The Republicans don't care. They believe pollute right here. The Democrats believe pollute somewhere else. They both negative. They both believe in polluting. One believe pollute somewhere else and we're bad from you. And the other one believe we just pollute right here and save money. Basically, Tell me if I'm wrong. Because if you say this is no good and they go to their country and they do this to their own people and you buy the stuff, what that say about you? If they doing this to their people and then they sell you the stuff, that means you saying they hell with their people. We just want the stuff. So you ain't got no moral compass. On top of that, you slow. Because this stuff ain't going to stay in China. Right? So you slow. Because you're not polluting China. You're polluting Earth. You're polluting the sky. And the sky don't stay in China. The sky go around the whole planet. And this stuff is going to go around the whole planet. This stuff not going to stay in China. Who believes that pollution just going to go and say, oh, okay, this is China. Pollution going to be like, oh, we can't leave China. We got to stay right here. Like the pollution could talk to each other and say, or some pollution start leaving China, be like, you better get back over here. You can't leave China. You better get back over here. You can't go get in the ocean. You can't get in the rivers. You can't float out there to the whole world. You got to stay pollution right in China, which ain't going to happen. Wind blows. This stuff going to pollute the whole world. That's what the tariffs is about. It's about bringing the factories back to America at whatever cost. That's what it's about. And you know who's going to suffer the most. Black communities often bear a disproportionate burden of industrial air pollution, including toxic manufacturing, leading to higher rates of respiratory illness and other health issues. This disparity stems from factors like discriminatory land use and zoning practices, which have resulted in polluting industry being placed near or within Black communities. So they're going to bring all that dirt and they're going to dump it on us. Food safety has been a significant concern in China for years, with issues including deliberate contamination for profit, adulteration, and the use of harmful additives. Examples include milk powder contaminated with melamine, gutter oil used in cooking, and the use of chemical brighteners in mushrooms. They put the chemicals on there to make the mushrooms brighter and then sell it to you. Toxic manufacturing plants, also known as toxic chemical facilities, are industrial or manufacturing facilities that handle, store, and release chemicals potentially harmful to human health or the environment. You see, facilities, they handle it or they store it or they release it. These plants can release toxic pollutants into the air, water, and soil, posing risks to nearby communities and the environment. This is what they own, y'all. That's what this is all about. All you got to do is think, what are we buying from China? What is what they make in China causing in China? And then if we make it here, what will it cause here? That's all you got to think. It's all that stuff we bought from China. What is it doing to their environment when we buy it? And if Trump wants to make America great again and bring it over here, he's going to have to set up the same type of factories. And what's the backlash if we compete with China? We're going to have to make that junk over here. So the only reason we doing all this business with China is because they didn't want to pay for the regulations to have the factories be clean. It was too expensive. So they went over there, intentionally went and looked for the cheap way to get products where they didn't have to pay for no regulations. It's cut and dry. And they planning to bring all that stuff here. When already asthma and stuff is up, allergies is up, because experts are saying that America is just planting female trees, female trees, female trees. And now we got too much pollen going into the air. And with all this pollen going into the air, the people that produce medicine for your breathing is getting rich. The asthma medicine people and the people that produce all this medicine when you can't breathe, sinus medicine, they're getting filled. They're making more and more and more. And they just constantly planting male trees, because you see male trees release the pollen. Then the female trees get it, and that's how they make fruit or make whatever they make. So if you just got male trees, right? And you just got male trees and male trees and male trees, you're just going to have pollen and pollen and pollen and pollen and pollen. And so now people's sinus problems is worse than ever. And the scientists are saying it ain't normal. It's not normal. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Look at Zyrtec. Look at Zyrtec. Real talk, y'all. They pimping us. Look at Zyrtec. Making money. Look. Look at Zyrtec pimping it. Selling allergy medicine. They call it botanical sexism. That's what they call it. That's what they calling it. They calling it botanical sexism. I'm telling y'all. That's what they calling it. And it's done on purpose. It's done on purpose. Also, it's done so you won't have no fruits or nothing. It's done because if you don't got the female trees, then you can't have no apples. The tree ain't gonna make no apples. So you might be looking at an apple tree and not even know it's an apple tree because there ain't no females. It's just a male apple tree. It don't make apples. Like the male marijuana plant, it don't make big buds. The female do. And he dropped the pollen and she catch the pollen. And she makes the seeds. He don't make no seeds. This is all being done on purpose, y'all. I'm telling you. These people evil on the next level. Tree pollen allergy. If you sniffle or sneeze every spring or as early as late winter in some states, it could be due to a tree pollen allergy. Tree pollen is the first pollen to appear each year in the United States. Right? Now look. Are they going to talk about it? They ain't even talk about it. Watch. They ain't going to talk about it. They ain't going to talk about it. Tree pollen count is getting worse. Trees are effective tools at helping regulate climate. Many trees are monches, which means they have pollinating flowers and fruit, seed, and nut-bearing flowers on the same plant. But there are some fruit, seed, and nut-bearing trees that do not release pollen. These are called female trees. These trees rely on small animals and insects to transfer the pollen. Other trees release pollen but do not produce fruit, seed, or nuts. These are called male trees. They rely on the wind to carry pollen to other trees for pollination, right? More wind pollinating trees can lead to increased pollen production. Since 1990, pollen seasons have 21% more pollen. Tree pollen levels saw bigger increases than grass and weed pollen. Botanical sexism, the preference to plant male trees, may be partly to blame for the increase in tree pollen. Historically, many urban planters have chosen wind pollinating male trees instead of fruiting female trees when designing communities, streets, and parks. This practice leads to more pollen in cities. Experts believe this is part of the reason why pollen counts have been increasing. And why? Why do they plant male trees? So you won't have no food. So you gotta go to the store. They don't want to have cities with trees full of almonds. They don't want you to have pecan trees and almond trees. They want you to have trees that ain't got nothing on them. So they can starve you. So you got to go to the store. And then they see that it's high pollen. So they just go make Zyrtec and they just go make allergy medicine and make money off of you. They go pimp you. That's what they do. They go pimp you. They go pimp you. Look how much money they're making. Look. Benadryl, Claritin, XYZAL, Zyrtec, Allegra. Just look. They getting rich. And they know. They know. You think they don't know? They know. If they plant female trees, no more allergy medicine. So, because there's no bunch of pollen. No more going to the store to get avocados and walnuts and pecans and peaches and oranges and mangoes and apples and pears. No more of that. No more of that. They lose billions and billions and trillions of dollars. If they plant female trees. So they plant all male trees. Now you got to come to the store to buy food and you got to buy allergy medicine. Straight up. I guarantee you, when they have these tree planting events, they ain't gonna tell you who the sponsors are. I bet you the sponsors, the allergy medicine people, and the people that own the food stores, Whole Foods in them. Yeah, plant some trees that you can't eat. You plant plants that ain't worth a damn, because that's what they got us planting. Trash. You all outside cutting grass like a lame plant. You got grass. And then when the stores close, you've been watering grass and fertilizing grass and feeding grass and cutting grass. Spend all that time on something you can't even eat. All them plants around your house, you can't eat none of them. Like a sucker. When I was at my father's house, I used to sit out there and watch the neighbors just out there taking care of that trash, them trash plants they got. They used to be looking crazy. They be out there every week taking care of plants that they can't eat. And then when they see me with a garden with food, they like, oh yeah, dumbass. I'm growing food. I wish I would grow grass. I don't really want no house right now. I'm too old for a house. But if I was younger and I got a house, I wouldn't grow no goddamn grass. What the hell I want with some grass? Ain't no way I grow no grass. I ain't no cow. I can't eat that. I'm not watering no grass. I'm not cutting no grass. I'm not growing no grass. Is you crazy? Sucker stuff. So look, that's what's going on with that. I hope y'all learn from that. That's the secret behind the tariffs. The secret behind the tariffs is that they have to get rid of regulations in order to bring the factories back here to produce what they're producing in China. And that's what Trump wants to do. Trump wants to bring all them jobs back to America. He wants to bring all them polluting factories back here, which to me, it's crazy that he don't want to put no regulations on it. But it's not no more crazier than the other politicians buying stuff that's polluting other nations, because that's how they do Black Americans. So it's a mixture between bringing plants back here and polluting Black Americans, or having plants make your stuff overseas and polluting Chinese and all of them. Pollute India, Africa, and China. Either way it go, you're going to pollute everybody other than Europeans, basically. So it's wicked on both sides. It's wickedness. Because it's wicked to have them over there killing their people in order for you to get this stuff. And it's wicked for you to bring it over here and kill your own people because you want to maximize your profits and you don't want to pay the money to make the stuff in a clean way. You want to make it as cheap as possible and charge as much as possible. They don't want to make it and make it healthy and pay that extra money. They want to spend very little money and charge a whole lot of money and just make all the profits, like selfish, greedy people. That's what's going on. You understand? So when you watch it, that's what the politicians is talking around in circles when they talking about the tariffs. You have to listen to them close. They put space between the words so you're going to hear Trump say regulations very rarely, right? All of this is because of regulations. They don't want to pay the regulations to do it here. He want to bring it back here without mentioning the pollution. You know what I'm saying? And then the stuff they producing is pollutant because listen, let me show you something. They got them Chinese over there and they making all that plastic and stuff. But let me show you something. Dr. Campen told CNN that the amount of microplastic in the human brain is about equivalent in weight to an entire plastic spoon. The researchers also found that people who had received a diagnosis of dementia had up to 10 times more plastic in their brain than their peers. So we already have enough plastic in our brain to make a small plastic spoon. You understand me? That's how much plastic is in our brain. Enough to make a plastic spoon. Because you got your food and everything in plastic. You drinking out of plastic cup. You eating out of plastic fork, plastic spoon, plastic bags. All your stuff in plastic bags. Everything you got is plastic. Everything. Everything you got is plastic.